Nice.
That was not a bad one, huh?
Nice.
Doug Platt, thanks for joining me in the Old Lookout podcast, my friend.
Well, thank you, sir.
Yeah, I've been talking about this for a little bit, and I kind of want to just intro you a little bit on, I like to think everybody that I've had on here is interesting, at least to me, but for sure, like when I first met you, and there's been a bird, so backstory, I guess, is there was this bird that I had seen a long time ago up Highway 12, like in that corridor going over the Lolo Pass. And, man, I think it was just, like, west of the Hot Springs, almost in Idaho. And I was in, like, a lowland by this campground. And I think I was doing, like, a weed survey. I can't remember why I was up there, maybe patrolling for fire. But I was by myself. And I was just, like, checking out this cool bridge up Lolo. I should remember the creek that was running underneath it. But just, beautiful. And it was early in the morning, just drinking some coffee. And this little beautiful yellow, is it yellow with a red head?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it shows up. And I'd never seen one before. I was like, I wonder what that is. And I'd seen like a little bit of them ever since, but I had no idea what it was. First day I'm out with you, one of the first days we've ever even talked, and we're doing a tour of the forest, the Bitter National Forest, and we're up in Stevensville District and on the west side in the Bitterroots. And you hear like this, this was loud enough to like be like, oh yeah, that's a bird song. But you're like, oh, Western Tanager. I'm like looking at you, and I peeked my head around the tree, and I was like, oh, that's what that is, man. I was like, you're my hero. I've been waiting on that for years
Man, yeah, they are the best birds.
Yeah, well, and the thing is too, and you know what it is when you're in the field, like you're like, wow, that's cool. I gotta look that up when I get service, and then you get doing a million other things.
Forget.
Yeah, and you forget. Yeah, because like most places we are don't have service, especially like up Highway 12 corridor. That's a dead spot for a long time if you're deep in there like I was.
Yeah.
And so unless I took a picture of it, which they move pretty quick. Even that day I got a picture, but it was kind of rough.
Yeah, I don't know how people take photos of birds. That is so hard to do. I really want to get one of those like telephoto lenses, and, like take really artsy shots of birds, but yeah, I need like $3,000 for that.
Yeah, that's man, and that's an art form too, because you got to figure out the camera and the right lens and distance and all that.
Yeah, that's a whole nother can of worms.
It is, man.
I'm not ready to open that.
Yeah, same. My wife's got a pretty nice camera, and I keep telling myself I'm gonna figure it out, and I missed the opportunity because one of my really good friends, his name's Tom Haney, and we jumped on West Yellowstone together, and he's awesome photographer. He used to sell some of his stuff, and I'm not sure if he still is, but I always thought if I had a cool office and maybe make a little more money, I would buy a bunch of his photos to decorate my office, because he's got like really cool smoke jumping photos, fire photos, and just cool outdoorsy photos.
That's sick.
Yeah, he's got this awesome picture from Glacier. And I bought it for my wife for her birthday because it was like so amazing. It was these mother-daughter couple paddleboarding, and if I got the story right, because Tom met him when they came to shore and was like, hey, I took a bunch of photos with you. Could I have your address and send you them? And they were like pumped. They're like, yeah, for sure. We'd love to see it. And
that's
like,
awesome.
Yeah, they're on paddleboards. It was snow like everywhere. It was cold. So they're in like sweatshirts, like leggings and like UGG style boots. And I think they even had their coffee on their paddleboard, like a coffee cup. Like these gals were skilled on a paddleboard.
That's awesome.
Yeah, man. And so he's got this picture. I think they're kind of looking at each other, smiling, and the sun's coming up. And because that was their deal. They try to find a spot with the lake, paddle out, watch the sunrise with their coffee and their paddleboards, then paddle back and keep their adventure rolling.
Man.
Yeah, I was like, geez, man.
They're cooler than I'll ever be.
Oh, absolutely, man. I was like, wow. That is
I don't
so
think
amazing.
I have the willpower to do that.
Yeah, and it was
cold.
cold. Yeah, because he'd been camping out for a few days, and it had been like a blizzard, and I think he was just trying to capture like Lake McDonald and the background mountains, the mountains in the background.
Oh, yeah.
And so like first beautiful day, you cruise out of his tent, hanging out next to the shore, and you just see this mother-daughter couple come up and put their paddleboards in and cruise out and watch the sunrise.
Dang, that's awesome.
Epic, man. Yeah, like because in the winter, well, a lot of times in the year, but you get these like cotton candy pink skies, and it has that going on, and it's just super cool. And he's awesome with the camera. So I wish I would have picked his brain a little bit. And then my other buddy Brett Newell is also pretty handy with the camera. We're in Yellowstone, jumping out of Yellowstone. Brett Newell was jumping with us too, and he started jumping here before me and Tom. And we go in the park all the time, take these awesome photos of bison getting up super early, and oh man, yeah, like I just didn't take advantage of that time in Yellowstone, and their knowledge of cameras. So
yeah,
that's the moral of the story.
Yeah, photography, that's a whole new beast. But honestly, like smartphones these days,
oh dude,
you hardly even need a nice photo other than for like super I don't know. Well, I guess if you're selling your stuff,
Yeah.
you kind of want a nice one. But
Yeah.
smartphones are pretty much the real deal now. It doesn't really
dude.
matter.
Yeah,
it's so great.
Yeah, especially like the new iPhone. Well, and they're all competing. Like it used to be like iPhone was like the best camera. Now like I think any one of the
now
top brands.
The Samsungs kill it.
Yeah, totally. Oh, we're at 80% here. So downloading the Merlin app for anyone who's paying attention to me mess with my phone. Usually don't like to mess with my phone during the podcast unless I'm looking something up.
Yeah, and all the listeners should download the Merlin app if they enjoy bird watching or are interested in the slightest. It's the handiest piece of equipment.
Yeah.
I don't know what people did before it.
I mean, I wouldn't. Like, I'm really pumped. And, case in point, you told me about the Merlin app. We're on the tour. Didn't have time. I mean, we've talked about like 5 times since, and I'm downloading it finally now. So I didn't do my homework for this podcast like I should have.
Well, back in the day, they must have had their bird books, and you should see. Have you like read through any bird books before?
No.
The like section of like voice for the birds will be like, it's a high pitched U followed by a chicka chicka chick chick chick, and it'll like write it out in letters and stuff, and it's like, how in the world are you supposed to know what that means?
Yeah, could you imagine like you and somebody else out there like, I think that sounds right. The
chicka chicka choo choo is like, what? No, the Merlin app you can just record it and it'll just spit it out, and then you can verify it. Sometimes it could be wrong, but
yes,
verify it as best you can, and then it's like 90% of the time it's right.
Oh, that's awesome, man. And then, like you said, if you're in the woods a lot, you probably get another shot at that bird, and you can probably verify that way too. Just
exactly.
Hit it again, kind of like was it like Soundhound or something you can get for your phone and like identify music on the radio.
Oh yeah. It's like that for birds.
Yeah.
It's literally that for birds.
Not that you really need that anymore. I mean, like now everything's digital, and Pandora and Spotify and stuff. So I feel like I'm talking. Am I coming across loud? I'm trying to watch the levels here.
You sound good in my ears.
All right, man. Hey, right back at you, buddy.
Hey.
Is this your first podcast? You ever done this before?
First podcast, man.
Wow, man. First time. Awesome.
Dude, I barely even have social media. I don't go on the internet.
Yeah.
Well, I do, but not like I don't put myself out there very often. So
yeah, like not for social media. You're just out there for more education, exploration.
Yeah, I used to do it a lot on social media, but then I just got weird. I don't like all it was to me is I'd go on there and I'd see all my friends doing like the coolest stuff ever, and I would just get super jealous, even though I do cool stuff too. But it's like if you look on somebody's profile, you just see the best of what they do, and it's like, oh man, like I'll never be that good. It just made me feel bad about myself. So I was just like, Instagram, I'm out.
Yeah, it definitely has that for sure.
But now I kind of miss it because I want to see what my friends are doing.
I know. I was gonna say
it's kind of like a give and take.
Yeah, totally. I think you get older and you just kind of understand that, like you're doing cool stuff too, and like down the road, like
exactly.
You have those opportunities, and it gives you. It's for me, it's like a bucket list builder. Like I'll see someone do something cool, and especially with this podcast, because it's I'm reaching out more than if it was just my own personal thing. Like I probably wouldn't like search people to friend, and I wouldn't follow as many people. Like it would just be like probably my close friends and family, But now I'm like following these people, and I'm like, whoa, where is that? And then like either message them or I'll like read, like where they were. Like, wow, all right, that's on the to-do list.
That's a good way to think of it. Just putting it on the to-do list.
Yeah, it's so cool, man. Because like I think it keeps you humble and keeps you like hungry for adventure. Because you're like, man, like.
That's true. It's definitely motivating in that way where it's like, oh man, all these guys are doing cool stuff. Like I should go do cool stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Like, man, yeah, why not me? Like, and then you start, and I think. The big thing for me and maybe for some folks listening is like having a plan, right? Like scheduling it. Like otherwise, I'm like with fire. I think it comes to you, right? Like because like you never know where you end up. Like I jumped this, or no, I didn't even jump it. I was crew boss in the Great Northern. I'm gonna mess this up, I think. So sorry for anyone listening in R5 in California, but it was like McCalmney. Yeah. Oh yeah. So man,
I know that area.
No idea that place existed. Get the fire call. We're out of Weaverville at the time. And I think they were actually just moving us to Redding, like to Prepo. And then they're like, hey, we need an extra crew. And it was super cool because Helena Shots were there. Flathead Hot Shots were there. So, like, and I knew.
Where did you jump?
No, we ended up not jumping. Some other guys did jump it, but, like, I was just crew boss. And so they flew us in. And so it was, like, just a bunch of crews. And they initially jumped it, and they just need some backup. And, man, like I didn't have a chance to look around when they first landed. Like I was on because we had like the assistant going first and then me going last is, how we did our shuttle in case like something happened, we got split up. So there'd be someone in charge. So like I show up last, and so I'm just like tying with everybody and just trying to focus on that to work my way down the hill to get time with my crew and see what we had, And it's a Type 2A crew, so like I was, want to get time with them a little quicker than, if it would have been a little more experienced crew probably,
Right.
And they were fine. I had a really great group of folks, but, just want to go time and make sure everybody's safe. So didn't look around. So on the way out, we got flown out, and so we're hiking out, and there's no smoke really. The fire's like dead, so like when I flew in, there's smoke. But there's where the jump spot was like right where it flew us in, and they have this like beauty of a camp. They have all the parachutes like set up as like like shades, and
oh, that's cool.
Oh, it was awesome, man. Like a little kitchen kind of set up, like just with like the boxes, like the food boxes and stuff. It was beauty. And I was like, oh man, wish I would jump this sucker. But it was kind of cool though because we were on this like rocky. Have you been there, McCallum?
Well, we used to call it the Moke.
The Moke?
Yeah,
oh, cool.
But I mean, I've been on the river. I've fished the river before.
Really?
Yeah, because I used to live in the Central Valley, and the Moke came in like right in Lodi where I worked. It kind of came into the Delta area. So I fished the lower Moke, but I never really went up too high into the Sierra. But I'm sure you were way the heck up there.
Yeah, I think like if I remember the map, we weren't that far from Tahoe.
Yeah.
So right,
that makes sense. I think, or the headwaters are south of Tahoe, somewhere in there.
Yeah, I think just on the map.
My California geography is fading.
Well, it's big, man. Like everyone forgets, dude.
Sierras are really jumbly and confusing, kind of.
Yeah, they are, and kind of windy roads.
Yeah, really windy.
Yeah, we went down some real narrow roads to get there, and we went to this like cool ranger station that had a hell spot, and they flew us out, and it was a couple hantavirus cases I was reading about. I was like, hey, get out of the shed, get out of the shed. It's not a good spot to be. But it was just gorgeous, dude. We were up on this like high plateau that was like all rock, which also turned out to be a bad deal because this lightning, this crazy electrical storm came in like the night before we left or something, like sometime during our assignment there. But man, you could see down in that river. Were you down on that bottom?
I don't know exactly where you were, but I've been in other river bottoms in the Sierra that are just insanely deep gorges.
That's what it was, man. I was like looking down. I'd have my coffee every morning.
So deep, like the gorges and canyons in the Sierra, way bigger than out in Montana.
Yeah, like anywhere I really had been, and different, because it's not like the Grand Canyon where it's like a desert and this big canyon,
it's just rock,
It's just rock and trees.
And you get up high enough, and then the Sierra is just like an ocean of wavy granite rock, just as far as you can see in every direction. It's just I love the Sierra Nevada. It's an incredible mountain range.
It is, man. Like I think it's because California's got Yosemite and the ocean and LA and all these, and San Diego and all these other places, and Tahoe. It's like, so it gets because Tahoe's in Cali, right?
Yeah.
All right, that's
well, Tahoe / Cali /
Nevada, right? Yeah, I couldn't remember exactly what the line was. Like, maybe
it goes right through Tahoe.
Oh, does it really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I probably knew that because I've been there a few times, but top of my head, couldn't remember. But anyways, there's just so many awesome things. So like, maybe slightly less awesome parts of California get missed,
Definitely. There's some backwoods places in California that nobody knows about, or not that many people anyways, and it's just, it's great. Yeah, too many people focus on, when they think of California, they think of like Southern California or...
Yeah, and Hollywood and stuff.
Yeah, or Yosemite and stuff. Yeah, but there's so many other places that you wouldn't have even heard of.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, we were just cruising around Northern Cali, and like we talked about this before, like out to Six Rivers, like Mad River Range District. Then we went out to Fortuna. That's what it was. And
oh yeah.
What's the one on the ocean there? Some with an A.
Arcata.
Like, Arcata, yeah. Went to Arcata, and that was all like cool.
It's so different up there.
It is,
than anywhere else in California.
It was such a nice break too, because we were a little more inland, in the Mad River area, and it was nice, but it was really hot, really dry, kind of a drought.
You get out
going
there,
through.
It's just wet and soggy and nasty.
Yeah, it was a nice change. Yeah, because like everything was soaked when you woke up.
Yeah, it's gross and moldy there though. Sure.
Oh, I bet. Yeah, and that's us Montana kids. We didn't know anything.
Yeah,
we come out of the hotel and it's just like everything's soaked. We're like, whoa, this is wild,
Yeah.
So it was a nice break. Then we, back into the desert area. But I think we drove through some like redwood or sequoia type trees on the way out there too, which is super cool. Probably redwoods though. I don't know.
Probably redwoods. Definitely redwoods.
Oh, that's awesome.
On the coast there. Yeah.
Man, that's cool. So you spent I guess give me your background. Where'd you start?
So I grew up in Colorado,
Hmm.
born and raised in Boulder. And then when I turned 18, I got into school at Cal Poly in San Luis Obispo on the Central Coast there.
Ooh, slow, right?
Which the Central Coast is one of those hidden gems in California that people often overlook. I mean, it's an incredible place. There's just rolling green hills in the winter, at least.
yeah,
and
true.
beautiful coastline and cool hills, and yeah, that was a fun area to be at school. And then after school, I got into an AmeriCorps fisheries program, and I worked in San Luis Obispo,
Yeah.
Worked there for a year, and then I went up to the Central Valley near Lodi is where I worked.
Oh, that's how you ended up that way.
Yeah, so that's how I ended up that way. And worked there for 2 years, and then I really didn't like living in the Central Valley. I loved working there because there's really amazing fisheries there.
Yeah.
Really, really cool stuff.
Different kind of fish in there.
Tons of different. The diversity's insane. Well, and it's not for a great reason. It's mostly because it's one of the most invaded deltas on the planet.
Oh, I never knew, man.
It's super diverse because there's like 90% of the species are non-native.
Invasive, eh?
Yeah.
Oh.
So you see a ton of different fish there, and yeah, that was a fun job. I got to just like cruise around on boats and haul nets through the water and count fish and do all sorts of stuff.
Man, if it's that heavy invasive, it's probably going to be hard to... I mean, is anyone even making an effort to bring in the native fish? Or are they just like, well, this is the way it is now?
There's definitely native fish conservation going on, and there's actually a ton of money in it because so many people rely on the Delta for fresh water that the water companies are legally obligated to just pump money into conservation.
Oh, wow.
So a lot of the conservation groups around there have a good amount of funding, and there's a lot of conservation work, but yeah, the outlook is pretty bleak out there for our natives, unfortunately.
That was unfortunate, man. I mean, because you always hear about it here in Montana, too. It's like the big push is to, save the native species. Like, I think, did you hear this recently? The smallmouth bass were in the Bitterroot?
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, I was like,
interesting.
Yeah. That's kind of weird.
Go catch one.
I know, because that's what they want, right? They're trying to get them out.
Yeah, go catch it and kill it and report it. Catch, kill, report.
Yeah. How do you think they got in the Bitterroot?
From the Clark Fork.
I didn't know they were in the Clark Fork, but that would make sense.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't really know much of this till I was talking to the Fish and Wildlife and Parks folks that work here.
Yeah.
But yeah, they were saying there's been smallmouth on the Clark Fork for years and years.
Oh.
And so them getting onto the Bitterroot is just a sign that the Bitterroot is getting warmer and warmer and warmer every year.
Man, that's sad.
The trends are sketchy.
Yeah, it's bad news, right? Especially for local native species and stuff.
I mean, we all love to catch cutthroat trout, and their future is in the air right now with climate change. And that's the main thing is what I've been doing a ton of reading, and most of the temperature change is coming from climate change.
Oh, man.
So there's really not that much on the ground work you can do. You can do some stuff like, increasing riparian vegetation just to shade the river. That helps with temperature. Or getting better groundwater connections because that brings cool water into the system. But, there's only so much we can do.
Yeah, man. God, it's unfortunate. And, like, some of the recent numbers I was hearing about, like, pollution because, everyone, it's always the push in the first world countries to, like, clean up the atmosphere, which is, good. But it's one of the numbers I was reading was, like, we could go as clean as we want, but, like, you still have, like, these other giant factories in, like China and these other places that are still, like, pumping a lot of the carbon and, all the greenhouse gases, right, in the atmosphere. And, man, I had taken OChem, and I actually took, like, pre-OChem, not just, like, recent enough to have, like, tingles of memories about, like, what I'm talking about, but, like, I have no idea what I'm saying. But then I heard, like, this British fellow talk recently about, like, he had a good solution. It was kind of cool because he was like, most people are, like, pointing fingers, and he was just like, what we need to do is just, like, instead of, like, maybe trying to have this big green push in countries where it's not even, like, it's not even a part of the problem. It's like that's good. We can still keep working on that, but maybe we should put more effort into making cleaner energy and making it cheap energy, so we can put it at these places where all the
that are up and coming.
Yeah, and the places that have the higher
so
pollutants.
They don't even know dirty energy. It's just right into the clean stuff.
Yeah, and make it affordable and better, so that when like these other countries that are like the heavy polluters, they don't. Yeah, it's no brainer. Like it's like this is cheaper and better, and we'll help you. Get it off the ground.
Perfect world.
Yeah, perfect world. Yeah.
We don't need to go down that road.
No,
it's
we don't.
Doom and gloom.
It is. Yeah, I was trying to keep it on the up. Yeah. It's man. I guess I kind of knew about the fish, and I mean our whole ecosystem is getting hammered by this
Pretty
global
much.
warming, and
But fish are really, I think, one of the most important like indicator species out there, and all across the West. I mean, the whole country really, and the whole world is like fisher. The outlook is tough for them. So
well, and like you said, there's such a
it's a bummer, but it's also really interesting.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, it's there's such a good indicator, like you said, or like almost like thermometer or
right, like the canary in the coal mine.
Canary in the coal mine. That's okay. Doug, you're the man. Because that's like where my brain was going. I couldn't quite put my finger on it, but like. Because I mean, like part of the pollution with the oceans and mercury in the tuna and all these fish and stuff, like see the rise in it. It's like, something's got to change, and that's definitely the indicator. That's more visual. I mean, if we were a little more in tune, there might be something else we could pick up. But like, fish are so sensitive to all that stuff, especially like with the warming of the rivers. Like
trout in particular, they just are really picky little suckers.
Yeah,
they really want that cold water, but that's too damn bad.
Yeah, they're not gonna get it for a while, maybe.
Everything's getting warmer.
Yeah, you can see it with the wildfires and everything else.
Wildfires. It's crazy. Yeah, we're like, it's just insane to like learn about this stuff. Back in, or for me, it was like middle school and stuff where I first learned about climate change, and then like now I feel like I'm really living it.
Yeah, totally, man.
Like things are just crazy.
It's
the hottest. The last June was the hottest, or July was the hottest July ever recorded.
Oh, man,
and that happens every year now.
I know it's
every year it's the hottest year ever recorded.
I know it's not as surprising as it used to be.
No, it's not surprising, but it's just it's interesting to actually be like living it. And it's not like the world's just like ending.
No,
like we're still alive and well. And like it'll just be interesting to see how
things adapt.
Because it's not like life is just going to come to an end. It's like just things are going to be different.
Yeah. And I think it's the unfortunate thing is that we're more aware than probably humans have ever been, as far as we know, of like species and things like that. So like we know it. You can just feel the hurt when we lose a species. You're like, oh man,
Yeah.
So I think that's what's harder me with this point in life, and I think we're more massive. Population's huge, human race. So it's like we can kind of see the impact we're doing a little more firsthand, and social media and all that stuff. So.
Well, and working for the Forest Service is an interesting perspective of it all, too. Cause you get access to a lot of data, and you see a lot of the forest, and, like, just seeing how things have changed from, like, the 80s to now, at least in the fisheries world, in the hydro world, is just mind-boggling.
Oh, totally.
I wish I could have been around in, like, the 50s and 60s just to see what these rivers were like, and what the fish were like. And, there was probably bull trout everywhere.
Oh, I bet.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
I would assume. But
bull trout's more sensitive or something?
You got to get some old geezer on here to talk about bull trout back in the day.
Yeah, that's a good call. Can you find bull trout still like Missouri and stuff though, right? Don't you? Or?
They're still here.
They're
just not as many of them.
Yeah.
And they in particular are the pickiest of the picky trout.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because they prefer waters under like 48 degrees, I think. Which, I mean, the bitter right now, right this second, the bitter is probably 72 degrees.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
It's
so they're not in the main stem. They're hiding somewhere else.
Yeah, that's what someone told me.
Rebecca just caught a bull trout the other day.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Did she have a picture?
Yeah, she's got a good picture. You should ask her.
Yeah, I'll have to bug her about it.
And Lauren caught one yesterday, too.
Really? Man, that's good news.
They were e-fishing, though, not rod and reel for the listeners out there.
Yeah.
Permitted,
yeah. different style. Yeah, because I remember I was talking to one of the folks. He's an instructor at Trapper, and he was saying that like a lot of times he fishes more of the tributaries because this time of year, because like you said, colder, and that's where all the fish go. So.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's up in Missoula where Rattlesnake Creek comes into the Clark Fork.
Yeah.
you're not allowed to fish within 100 yards of that mouth, just because that water's so much colder than the Clark Fork that like everybody will congregate right there. They're worried about like there being a pod of bull trout there and people just like hooking them.
Yeah.
So you're just not allowed to fish for 100 yards, little radius around the mouth, which is pretty interesting.
It's pretty interesting. Yeah, it's really. I think it's a good deal because I mean, how many people are really good at their fish identification? You know, so like, I caught a
bull trout look weird.
Do they look weird?
They look way different than.
So you caught
like
a brown trout?
And,
yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking like I don't know. I saw. I've never caught a bull. I don't think so. I was like just picturing looking similar to.
I've never seen a bull in person before.
I don't think I've either. So I was just picturing like more of a brown trout looking thing, but it doesn't look like brown, huh?
Kinda. They're like darker with white spots, but they're hard to catch unless you're using like big fat streamers because they're pretty much. I mean, generally they're exclusively fish eaters, so they're like super predatory towards fish. So you use these like giant streamers to catch them. And most people just don't fish with giant streamers unless you're targeting bull trout, which is illegal to do here.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah, that's probably why I haven't ever seen them because I don't think I've ever fished streamers than anyone I know.
Yeah, I don't really fish streamers.
Yeah. Here's a weird question. I used to catch whitefish all the time when I was a kid, and I haven't caught a whitefish in a long time. Is that just like weird coincidence, or is there something going on with whitefish too?
I think that's, well, I don't really know about what's going on with whitefish, but
maybe nothing.
I just caught one the other day.
Oh, yeah, so it's just me.
It might just be you.
Yeah, that's what I was hoping.
You gotta put your nymph a little deeper.
Oh, it could be. Yeah, I thought it was it. Well, like I remember as a kid, like people hated them. It seemed like around Craig.
I don't know what the hate is for whitefish, man. Everybody hates on whiteys, but they're pretty fun.
That's what I heard. I heard they taste really good.
I've never had one before, but apparently, people like smoke them.
Yeah,
and it's pretty good.
That's what I heard too.
I imagine that with some like cream cheese on a cracker. That sounds pretty good.
That sounds really nice. Yeah, because like I can picture the first one I caught when I was really young, and actually my great grandpa bought this thing. I was like super pumped, and he was like, "Throw it back." And I was like, "What? No, I want to keep this one."
Yeah, people always hate on the whiteys. I guess I kind of get it because when you do catch them, you're like, "Oh no, I'd rather have a trout." But when the trout are biting slow, then it's pretty nice to get a whitey.
That's what I was thinking. Like I hadn't caught anything all day.
Yeah,
like
that's when you really want one.
Yeah, and I didn't. Man, I was so young, I didn't really know like the difference between any fish, and I was just like stoked to have a fish. I was like, "Hey, look at this thing." Right. He's like, "Good job, throw it back." I was like, "I don't want to." But, yeah, I threw it back, and I was on the Missouri, like just downriver from Craig, and man, and that's another thing that's kind of changed too. It feels like the Missouri and a lot of these rivers are just so much more weedy because of someone told me because of the temperature change, and maybe some of the like fertilizer and stuff in the fields run off or something.
A bunch of nutrients. Yeah, I don't really know anything about the
weeds and stuff.
The east side rivers around here. I just haven't even really fished them. I've only been in Montana for like 2 years now.
Oh wow, yeah. What brought you to Montana?
Huh?
What brought you to Montana? I think I know, but I want to.
What brought me to Montana? A few factors. One was definitely family. My family kind of congregated up here.
Yeah.
But then the recreation, man.
That's awesome.
I mean, growing up in Colorado and being on those trails and being at those recreation areas, and then coming here, it's like a completely different world.
That's what I was told, yeah.
I'll come here to a trailhead, and it'll be like 5 cars in the parking lot. I'm like, wow, so busy.
Yeah. I know.
In Colorado, it's like 100 cars.
Yeah, that's what I was told, man. Like everything.
At least depending in certain places, but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, more popular areas, I guess. I imagine maybe around Bozeman might be getting a little bit like that. But
yeah, definitely. And around Missoula can get like that too a little bit. But still, it's not nearly as bad as like Boulder where I grew up.
That's what I heard, man. Like even on the weekdays, like because usually around Montana you can get away from a little bit of the crowd on the weekdays, especially outside the busy seasons. It's not a big deal, But
right.
Yeah. Even if they are packed, like you said, as long as you're going.
I mean, once you get on the trail, you don't see anybody.
That's what I was gonna say.
It's weird.
Yeah, as long as you're going up with a good attitude and don't mind, and most people are super fun and happy to see you.
Yeah, people are friendly on the trails. Yeah, I love running into some random people out in the woods.
Yeah.
That's the difference. Around here, you run into somebody in the backwoods, and you're like, "Oh my God, how's it going? Like, good to see you."
Yeah.
You go conversate with them. Whereas, like, somewhere a lot busier, like Colorado or California or something, you're just like, put your head down and keep walking. You're like, hi, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Just
Quick thing.
Yeah.
But here, people like want to talk to you, and like I've gotten in like 15-minute, 20-minute conversations with people just way the heck out there.
Yeah.
And it's great.
Oh, it's so good, man. You're like, oh, I saw whatever up here, you know, like, you're like, oh, cool, I'll go check that out, you know, like, especially if they're like, you know, if it's the first time you've been on that trail, they're like, oh, have you been up, like, you know, Blodgett would be a Horsehead Arch. You like, have you seen a Horsehead Arch? Well, it's just a little bit ways up there, you know, like, you'll see it, can't miss it, you know, stuff like that.
Yeah, people are super friendly. It's great.
Yeah, I hope that doesn't change. Hope.
It will.
It will,
It's
unfortunately.
Okay. It's just like climate change. It's all going to hell.
Yeah, yeah.
I know what people are going to say is that I'm part of the problem for moving here, but, you know, you only live once. And
no, yeah, I don't believe in that, man. I think people who are getting mad at folks for moving, you can't choose where you're born. You can't choose, like, where
That's
you
what I'm
grew
saying.
up, you know. But when you're old enough, like, when an adult, you can choose where you want to live and, like, live wherever makes you happy. Like, I think more people would be happy if they would do that.
I
like,
couldn't agree more.
Yeah, if you don't like an area, move. You know, go find your happiness.
That's the beauty of America.
Yeah.
You're allowed to move around. You can do whatever you want.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And I want to, in my experience too, you know, like I've lived in Montana almost my entire life. So it's like seeing it change since the 90s, you know, like since the early 90s, you know.
Big change, I'm sure.
Yeah, but it's, I don't know, it hasn't been too bad. The only people I ever get frustrated with are the folks who are like cutting off access. You know, if they like, it's usually the rich out-of-stater folks who come in and they just, it's like their trophy ranch, and
That's where I think the problem is like second homes or like affecting the way locals live.
Yeah.
Like me coming in here, like some broke young guy trying to like make it in the environmental industry. Like I'm not really stepping on anybody's toes.
No,
and I recreate super responsibly and stuff. I'm not like,
and that's like
doing anything wrong. I don't think.
I want to say, man, I mean, it'd be pretty close to 100% of Californians I've met that have moved here are just like you. They're just like, I can't afford.
Well, that's the crowds you run with too.
That is true, but I'm trying to give a little bit more benefit, you know, but I think that's why they come here. A lot of them is like, you know, just like California's expensive.
It is.
It's busy.
It's hard to be a young professional, like trying to, you know, just live.
Yeah, well, you see in the Forest Service side of things, man, like they're having a really hard time filling positions, and we are too, but not quite as bad, I don't think, because, man, the Forest Service wage is the same nationally, you know, all over. So it's like you try to live anywhere in California, really.
The locality pays don't even make up for it.
No.
A lot of the time.
Yeah, and we get like our little raise that's supposed to go with inflation, you know. And
it's like 0.5% or something.
Yeah, last year, yeah.
Or
like,
3%. I don't know.
Well, I think
it's not enough.
Yeah, this one was 2%.
Never enough.
No, and the one before that was like 0.5% or 1.5% or something like it. I mean, you don't even notice it, you know, because it just goes with taxes.
Yeah.
So it's like something's got to change, you know, and yeah, I don't know. Outdoor community, I think, is pretty strong. So I think that's why, like you're saying, like the California folks, the outstairs that I've met are just trying to do the same thing as me and you. You know, go out and enjoy and
just get by, man.
Share some experience.
Have fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
Enjoy nature.
Yeah, Melissa.
What up?
Shout out to Melissa. Yeah. So I don't know. I think people maybe need to give people a little more grace for moving here. You know, it's like everyone's moved here from somewhere, you know, like even if you're fourth generation, you know, that first person came from somewhere, you know.
That's what I'm saying. Just a little perspective, man.
Yeah, even me, you know, like I'm, you know, part Nez Perce, that's where, you know, a lot of my ancestry comes from, or some of it, I guess, and it's like, I don't know, who knows if they were here the whole time. They could have come from somewhere too, you know.
Right. That's, whoa, bro. Blowing my mind.
I mean, no, it depends on like the land bridge theory and all that comes, but I mean, that's the cool thing I love about just humans in general. Like it's such a mystery. Like they find new evidence that like maybe humans have been in, you know, the Americas for longer than they thought. And
that's so great. I took a pre-history class in college. It was like history before history. So like how humans became humans. That was a really cool class.
Dang,
we talked all about all that stuff and how the Polynesians might have gone to California before anybody else did. That's like a big theory.
Yeah, I can't remember because you know, Rogan had that guy on who was talking about all these like similar like artworks, like rock carvings or carvings, like rock carvings. You know, that are like super similar, like these snakes and these heads, and you know, like I can't remember the name of the Olmecs or something like that. They were thinking, and
I think so.
Yeah, so before like that one cataclysm, they're thinking that those folks were all over the world, like, and that would make sense. These sailing cultures, why wouldn't they go all over, especially if they're that good sailors, like, I think our history wrote that it's an accident, like, I mean, it's not like Columbus was lost, but like the Vikings, they were coming and going as they pleased. They weren't like lost. It didn't sound like they would just come over.
The Polynesians crushed it.
Yeah, Polynesians, yeah. Like, I don't think it was an accident. They like made it to Hawaii and Fiji and all these other islands.
No, you know how it happened, or how they used to do it?
Birds.
Well, I'm sure that played a part.
Yeah.
That would be a great segue. But
yeah, that's what I was going. That's what I thought you were going. It's like, dude.
No, so they would just like, I guess when they decided it was time to explore, they would just load up a ship with like, I don't know, a ton of supplies. Let's say like a month of supplies, and then they would just sail like in one direction. And once they used half of their resources, they would turn around and come back.
Oh, whoa.
And so they would just do that over and over until they found something. And that's how they found all those crazy islands.
That's cool, man.
Super remote places, was just like exploring really responsibly.
Yeah,
of
smart.
like, okay, once we run out of half our stuff, we'll come back.
Yeah, work
It'll
way
take
back.
the same amount of time to come back.
Yeah, it should. And if you
or something like that. I read that like a week ago. I don't know. It was something like that.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And I mean, even if like something like delayed you a little while, like you survive a few extra days on low rations.
I'm sure they survived for a month without food sometimes.
Yeah, they're probably fishing on their way.
I
and
mean,
they
those
catch,
guys are crazy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and they can fish on their way and
do that.
collect rainwater. I know, man. I'm like skipping a meal. I'm like, ooh.
Yeah. Oh boy, I'm starving.
Yeah.
I'm gonna die out
yeah,
here.
Exactly. I'm not gonna make it.
Like bring one bar on a hike. I'm like, I'm not gonna make it.
Yeah. Oh, dude. Yeah, especially on a hot day, the old blood sugar starts to tank.
Gosh,
I'm like,
dude.
oh,
Without
no.
my Gatorade, I'm toast.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so dependent on electrolytes now. Like I used to not be, but now
right?
I am. Yeah.
What's up with that?
Global warming?
It's global warming, making us all sweat harder, making us addict. It's Gatorade.
It's Gatorade. Yeah.
It's the conspiracy theory that Gatorade is causing global warming.
Oh,
so that we'll buy more Gatorade.
I mean, there's might be some grounds. I don't know.
Prove me wrong, listeners. Prove me wrong.
Yeah, right in. Yeah. Or, Gatorade can donate to the cause. I don't know. But
getting off the rails here.
Yeah, no, it's great, man. But yeah, I don't know. I'm older. I like more electrolytes, like all the time. Like it.
Dude, the Noon tablets.
Yeah, those are my
those
go-to.
things are bomb.
Those and like Hammer. Oh man, like Hammer gels. Like Hammer supplements. They're like
I
out
haven't had
of
those.
Whitefish or something. But it's like a Hammer Fizz.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm not giving this company enough love, but they're great too. Like I like them. Possibly a little more than Noons. I mean, they're both really good, but
I like the little goo packets too,
yeah.
like caffeine in them. Oh man, those hit good when you're really tired.
Yeah, well, that's
I'm sure you guys use those a lot in fire, right?
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Like because there's like a coffee one that's got like quite a bit of caffeine.
Yeah.
Actually, during rookie training, I use those a lot. Like I'd have like because you got your cargo greens on, so I'd have like both pockets full of stuff like snacks and
pocket
caffeine.
Snacks.
Yeah,
my buddy told me about those.
Oh really? Yeah, my two of my really good buddies who went through rookie training. They had pocket bacon. They're like this. It's like that's the only way to make it through, man. To get all those calories from bacon.
Oh man, that would be really good.
Yeah, totally, man.
I mean, yeah, those guys work hard.
Yo, dude, yeah, it's amazing, and your body just like eats it up too. Like,
yeah, you just turn into a furnace. You can burn anything.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Everything's fuel.
You could eat crap and it just like burns up.
Oh, totally, dude. Yeah, because I was running on like those like Cliff little shot block things,
Yeah.
Cliff shots, and yeah, those things were super helpful. Some of them were like 50 milligrams of caffeine or something for 2. I don't remember. Oh, starting to walk on you a little bit.
Things walking away.
Oh, got it steady.
Perfect.
I know. I should put like a little gripper or something on the bottom of these suckers so they stay a little more.
Some friction down here.
Yeah, exactly. It's too smooth. Yeah. And then, so you came to Montana, and then.
So let me resume.
Yeah.
So I was working in California.
Were you at the mock? What'd you call it? The mock?
The moke.
The moke.
Well, I live pretty close to the moke.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would fish it sometimes. Tried to catch some steelhead on it. Never was successful.
Oh, that reminds me. Actually, like I knew I was reaching for something, man. There was something on like that I was going to talk to you about with the fisheries here in Montana. And if I don't ask you right now, I'm going to lose it.
Okay.
Do you know about like salmon and flathead? Like there used to be like these big like salmon fishing things, and there's like these old black and white photos of guys having like these strings of, I want to say like giant salmon or something. Yeah, like way back when. And then like lake trout or something took them out. Do you know anything about this?
I don't really know anything about that. No.
We'll have to do some research and come back on that one.
I know that lake trout are not native there and are decimating
It's hammering everything, right?
a lot of the natives, but
Yeah. Because they're rough on
I
like
didn't know there
kokanee
was
too,
salmon
right?
there. I know there was never salmon here.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because there was down where the Clark Fork like meets the Ponderay. Is that what it is? Ponderay.
Probably, yeah. If I had track it, that seems about right.
There was a waterfall, or it still is, or something. I don't know,
Some natural
some barrier,
feature,
yeah, that salmon were never able to make it up here.
Yeah, because a lot of the, like the people who don't like dams, and I get it, because the salmon can't return back to their natural spawning areas, right?
Yep.
And so that's what cuts a lot of salmon from their natural spots. But
Big problem.
Yeah, but if you have a natural feature like a giant waterfall.
Yeah, that's just natural.
That's gonna keep. Yeah, I didn't know. Well, it makes sense though, because you go just right over the mountain range into like the Nez Perce country, and there's all kinds of salmon over there on that side.
It's pretty cool. Yeah, it's crazy how there's no salmon here. You go, let's see, as the crow flies, 20 miles.
Yeah, not very far.
And there's salmon.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool.
It was really the last time I went through like the reservation down to McCall to see my one buddy there who jumped on McCall, and shout out to Bronson. But there was like a bunch of like native folks who were along the river there, and they were catching salmon. I think they were selling it right there, like fresh caught salmon. I was like,
dang, that's awesome.
Yeah, like I did not take advantage, but I didn't know when I was gonna be coming back, so I didn't want to like have a salmon in my Subaru or whatever I was driving and like just forget about it.
Gotta always keep a cooler on you.
Oh, dude, I know. Like I should have just grabbed one of those like little styrofoam suckers and shoved the salmon in it.
Should have, man.
Yeah, it was like, oh, dude. So one of these days I gotta get back down there when they're doing like their salmon run or whatever's happening.
Yeah, I've never caught a salmon on a rod and reel.
Oh, me either, man.
Be pretty awesome.
You ever caught one of those little kokanee suckers before? You ever seen those?
Yeah. I've seen kokanee. That was a cool thing I saw in Tahoe was there's kokanees that were stocked in the lake, and they run up a few of the creeks there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and there's tons of them. I mean, we
That's
were at
cool.
this little, I forget, I'm sure some people listening have been there because it's super popular. But there's this like boardwalk, and there was like thousands of, bright red kokanees all spawning up.
Whoa.
And then this mama black bear and her two cubs came in out of the bushes, and mama started like charging and splashing and trying to catch the salmon.
Whoa.
And I got to stand like right there, right in front of her, trying to catch these salmon. It was like really cool.
That's cool. It's like a mini Alaska experience.
Yeah, it's like a tiny, teeny, tiny Alaska thing.
Yeah.
That's not
cool.
nearly as cool as the grizzlies up there, but
still like on a small scale.
it was crazy. I mean, in Tahoe, like literally right outside of town.
Wow, that's awesome, man. I didn't know until like a couple years ago that the kokanees turn color, because I'd only seen them like in their normal like chill stage.
Yeah, they get super bright red. They're really cool looking.
Really cool, man.
Yeah.
Because I've only I saw like pictures of videos of the red salmon doing their spawning run in Alaska when all the grizz are out there and crazy bright red colors, and then to see that we have these little kokanees that do the same thing.
Yeah, but they're just small.
Yeah, just smaller. Yeah.
Cute. There used to be kokanee in Lake Como.
Really?
Yeah, there probably still are a few, but they used to stock them in there.
Oh, huh. Do you think they're native? Well, I guess the lake's not really native.
They were not native.
Yeah.
Kokanee, okay. Some listeners might correct me, but I believe kokanee are not native anywhere freshwater.
Oh, really?
They're
like an ocean
I'm blanking on it now, but kokanee and like sockeye are the same thing.
Oh.
Kokanee's just the freshwater version of it.
Something
like that.
Just gets a little smaller.
Yeah, I'll have to get back to you on that one though.
Yeah, we'll do some research and do a round two and
do a little research.
Yeah, I should be taking notes so like we can. Well, I'll get to edit this sucker, so
we'll get the follow
up on answer some questions about like the flathead salmon, and it'd be cool. I could maybe grab an old photo too, because it's like
I'm curious about that.
Yeah, I want to say I looked it up.
Maybe there was.
I think there was, sure. And I think the lake trout just like came in and just wrecked shop. Hey.
Very public podcasting.
Yeah, just sharing, being friendly. I think that was Shelby from Trails.
Oh, that's Shelby. Oh,
yeah,
cool.
Yeah, super nice. Last time I saw her, she was injured, so wanted to ask her how she's doing, but later date. Come on in, tell us how things are going. Yeah. But yeah, like the black and white photos I saw are super cool. So maybe I can like print those off and bring those of the salmon. Yeah,
I'm totally curious. But anyways,
so yeah, the moke.
Anyways,
we talked about the moke, and then
I was in the Central Valley. Me and my now wife were living there, and we just hated living in the Central Valley. I mean, anybody who's been there will tell you it's a fine place to make a living. There's a lot of jobs, but it's just not very fun to live there.
Oh, really? What It's
just really flat, really industrial. At least where we were.
Oh, is that like near Bakersfield?
Yeah, we were 100 miles north, which is still in the valley. The valley's humongous.
That's giant.
It's like 400 miles long or something like that. I don't know.
I've driven through it. Like, what's the biggest city? Like, Commons?
There's like Bakersfield, Stockton, Sacramento.
Sacramento, that's what I was thinking, yeah.
And then up to Redding.
Yes.
And then Redding's kind of like the end, pretty much.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, because I drove that whole stretch, so like I've definitely been through there, and
Yeah, it's just really flat, really boring. It's just not. It's
good for farming.
For a guy who likes mountains a lot and going hiking, it just wasn't the place for me. So, anyways, we sold everything we had. We quit our jobs and we moved into a truck and a truck camper.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that because I almost forgot to ask you about that part.
Yeah, and we lived in that for a good 7-8 months that winter.
Oh man.
We expected to live in it longer, but money.
Yeah, no, totally. And you, but it's good though, man. Like, like in the last podcast I did with my buddy Sam, and we were talking about like relationship stuff, and it's a good way to know if you like each other.
That's for sure. That's pretty much. I knew 2 things. I knew she was the one was when we survived COVID together, and when we survived living in a truck camper with 2 cats together.
That's big. Yeah, I think me and my wife high-fived after COVID. Like, yeah, we're good.
We're good. No issues. Spend that much time just us and be all right. I think it's gonna be okay.
Yeah, totally, dude. Yeah. That's what we got in common too. We were talking about before the podcast about like dirtbag camping. Like, me and my wife took their family camper, Jaco. So like, this thing was around like this Airstream. It was just a field at my dad's house, but I didn't like think it was usable. Really, it just wasn't on my brain to use it. And it was just kind of sitting in the field collecting mice.
Collecting mice.
Yeah, and it was good at it.
Good mousetrap.
Ooh, it was a real good mousetrap. It caught them all. It seemed like. I mean, this thing was. I'll show you pictures afterwards. It was brutal. It took a long time to get this thing like, just, able to walk around in it. But it got all cleaned up, bleached every square inch of the sucker. And but anyways, we had this Jaco. It was a 94, and I think it's 26 footer. And we were towing that thing around for a couple winters, and it was awesome. And just us and the dog, and we were in Bullhead, Buckeye, Arizona, so just outside of Phoenix for a while. And then we went to Prescott, and then we were in Bullhead for a while. Like, all these cool places, man. And like you said, like 26-foot basic hallway, because it's like an old camper, so it doesn't have the slides or anything. And pretty tight quarters, and it was great though, man. We had a great time and getting to see some country we never really would have, seen if we weren't living in the area.
Absolutely, it's such a cool. I wish I could do that, like long term and make a living, but it's kind of hard to do that. But it's like when you're actually doing it long term like that, it's so different than just like going on a road trip.
Yeah.
Like you just have to live. Like
it's so cool.
It's very strange, and you also get to spend time in places that like you normally just would not go to, because it's just like, why would I go down that road when like I know what's down that road?
Totally, yeah.
And I got time to think about. But like what we would do is just be like, oh, that road looks fun. Let's just go drive it. Why not?
Totally.
And we would just do it. And then we'd find a nice campsite, and we'd be like, shoot, let's stay here for 3 days. Like, we don't care.
Yeah, and
we're killing time, basically.
I was gonna say, you find some of these great spots. I mean, that's what kind of fire did for me. And then also just being like a nomad, adventurous spirit like you guys. Like, there's this it's Lake Mead. So I don't know where we're heading. I think we were going to Zion, maybe. I'm trying to track if that geographically makes sense for us to go from like
I think that
Prescott to Zion. There's like road construction or something, and like it was moving slow. And then there's this back road you can take that'll like cut off, so you don't have to go through Vegas, and you can like get closer. Like, it's pretty close to Zion, if I remember right. But it, on the map, it was about the same time with the construction. It was like, well, I know where this goes. I've been on this interstate a few times, but I have no idea where this other trail goes. And man, like you said, went around this beautiful country. There's some cool campsites back there. And
because why not?
Yeah, because why not? Yeah, we didn't have the camper with us because we're just gonna go tent camp outside of Zion and go explore. So we were really mobile, so it was cool. We got to go check it out, and we were in the tundra, and just, man, it was just a great time. We ended up pulling to Zion in dark because like we didn't know the construction was going on until we got into it, And man, you probably had this before. You pull into a spot and pitch black. Like, we pulled in this campground, pitch black, and just slept in the back of the truck. Rolled out an air mattress, and us and the dog just cuddled in for the night. And we only got a couple hours of sleep because we were excited to go check out Zion. But woke up in the canyon, like right as you're going into the park, and it was just
love that.
Gorgeous. Yeah, I was like, man, like I had the jet boil going, brewing up, getting some coffee going, and we
That's my favorite.
AeroPressed out some awesome coffee and just
having coffee camping is like the best moment.
Yeah,
ever.
dude. Oh, it's so good,
nice.
man. We're both in like rainbow flip flops, man, and like some sweats and a puffy, and just
comfy.
like comfy.
Just comfy.
Yeah, dude, like beanies on, just like taking it all in, and it's just like, oh, this is great. Like not even talking, just like looking around and absorbing it all in for a hot sec.
We did a lot of that when we were in the camper. A lot of just sitting there looking around.
Oh yeah, man. You guys coffee drinkers?
Oh yeah.
Awesome. What were you guys' method? You French pressing? You pour over?
We had at home now I just use drip.
Yeah.
Just
same.
It's easy.
It's easy. Yeah, set up the night before if you want.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I do. And then, but in the camper we had the percolator. Percolator's great too because you can get it ready the night before, and then all you got to do is fire up the stove and just wait.
Yeah, man. You get really good with the perk, man.
Dude, I like the perk coffee.
Yeah, it's great, dude. My dad, my older bro, and my brother-in-law are really good at perk coffee.
They're good.
Yeah.
They get a little groundy though. You get it all in your teeth and stuff.
That's kind of
price you pay.
Yeah, French press gets you too once in a while.
Yeah, French press. I don't even. Controversial opinion. I don't love a French press. It's too strong.
Well, the problem I was gonna say, like the first pour for French press is awesome, but the problem is if you don't get it all out of the French press at first, it just like gets stronger and stronger.
Yeah.
Well, and I didn't, because I'm not real smart. It took me a little while to figure this out. I had like a French press mug, so like I'd get my coffee going, I'd press it out and just be sipping on it, and like by the end of
Jesus, this is strong.
Yeah, by the end of briefing, I'm like chewing out. I'm just like, oh, my guts are just all wrecked, and I'm just like, ugh.
You're all like shaky and weird.
Like, there's something wrong with this coffee. It took me a long time to figure out, like, oh, no,
it's too strong.
Yeah, you got to pour out a French press. Like, that's why, like, in restaurants, they bring it to your table, you press it through, you pour you and your whoever's with you a cup, and then it's usually empty.
Right.
Because you want to make sure you get it out of there.
That's a good tip. Maybe I'll like it more if I just have it right away.
Yeah, like I said, it took me a long time to figure that out, so hopefully I'm saving some people some pain, some gut pain.
Pour over's good too, though. Pour over's definitely.
Yeah,
that's my backpacking go-to.
I was gonna say,
bring one of those little.
Yeah, foldy ones.
Plastic foldy guys. Dude, that thing makes better coffee than I make at home.
Yeah, pour over's so good, man. I think it's just the way like it funnels everything into the little crack of the
It's so good.
Little thing. Funnel, I guess. That's the right word. Oh man, I didn't get much sleep last night.
Yeah.
But and the cleanup. What I noticed when we took this sucker to Glacier this summer, I was like stoked. We got this giant French press and insulated like thermal, like big carafe thing, and I was like such a pain in the ass to clean it out.
Yeah, it's so annoying.
Yeah, so like, we get as much out as we could, and then you don't want to pour grounds into like the fresh drinking water area or down the sink, and in the campground. So pour out as much as we could, into the sink or whatever, without getting grounds out or wherever we're disposing of it, and then just like fighting to get it out. The rest of the way, like it'd be stuck in the screen, and
it's so annoying.
Yeah, I know better, but I did it. No. And the nice thing is, if you get the big like glass pour over too, man, like it's pretty nice.
Oh yeah, those like
Chemex.
Fancy ones with like the little like leather strap on them.
Yeah, or sometimes wood.
Wood.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need one of those.
Yeah, they look great too.
They look really cool.
But, yeah, I heard that's like one of the best
hip.
coffees.
Very hip.
Yeah,
Very
especially
hip.
if you get a little wood handle on it.
Oh man, you are straight to Portland.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say, man. I'm surprised I didn't give you one when you left California last year.
Here's your complimentary carafe.
Yeah, it's a Chemex. Here's your Chemex. Have you heard that before?
No.
I think it's a brand maybe, but that's the first time I heard it. It was like, it's a Chemex. And I was like, I don't know what that is.
Like, oh, am I supposed to recognize it?
Well, yeah, and I was like, thought it was like more like fancy. Like, I was like, is there something like just like a different hybrid of coffee? Is there something else I'm adding to this like chemistry thing,
Yeah, it makes it sound scientific.
That's what I thought, yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely wasn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. So keep cutting you off before you get to your story, because we keep getting derailed. So
I like it.
Yeah, so you guys are out.
Point.
True. That is what these are for, just like going down different rabbit holes.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, because I definitely want to talk about this, like how nomadic life you guys were living, because your folks were kind of doing the same thing too, right?
Not really. They ended up. It was coincidental that at around the same time we got our truck and camper, they bought a van. And my dad, who's like a carpenter, started building it out. But they're never trying to like live in it. They just wanted a vehicle for easy camping.
Yeah.
They're getting old. They don't like setting up tents and all that crap and sleeping in the tent. And they're old.
I'm right there with them. I'm getting that age.
Well, they're in their 60s. So.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. I'm right there with them.
Yeah.
On the outside, I'm 37. The inside, I'm 107.
Right, old soul.
Yeah.
But yeah, they got the van. But yeah, we cruised around for a while. The first thing we did was we went all the way to Arkansas and visited my now wife's family.
I was like, man, why would you go to Arkansas?
Yeah, that's where her family's at. So we cruised out there for the holidays. That's what it was. So we
whereabouts in Arkansas?
Fayetteville, up in northwest Arkansas.
I was gonna say, I know I've been through there.
It's the best part of Arkansas, in my opinion.
Yeah, because it's right outside the Ozarks, or in the Ozarks.
Yeah, the Ozarks are just like an hour away, and I mean it's a fairly large range, so there's a lot to do in the Ozarks. Arkansas is underrated, man. There's a lot to do there.
Oh yeah, it really is, man. I just realized my headphones were cranked. I was like, man, you're not relying on the system, but like, man. But
yeah, the waterfalls and caves
the color and some of the color of the water. Yeah.
It's beautiful. Yeah, the color. Yeah, like the blue turquoise, because there's so many minerals around there, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, it was amazing. It was like fake. Like I remember, because I was down there on Region 8 assignment in Clarksville, which is not. It's like Russellville's kind of close. Clarksville's like really tiny.
Russellville. I think I went to Russellville.
Yeah, I don't think it's very far from. You said Fayetteville.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think one of her family members lived there.
It's really cool. It's a little college town. Like when we had to go there for because all the hotels in the area were full, so we had to go all the way to Russellville a few times to hotel up. Yeah, it'll get you.
Sorry.
And no worries. So like there was like a college like softball tournament going on or something like right outside our hotel. So we just kind of hung out, like had some food and hung out there for an evening. But it's a winter, and I think it was like December or January, so really short days. So it was like, we got there, the tournament was winding down, so we just kind of like hung out, and then, I mean, not much to do after it gets dark is the problem.
No, not really.
And it gets real dark in Arkansas, so I go like PT, and I think that's all what it was. I went for a run, and then on my way back, like went for a big loop and just cruised past the softball game and caught that for a hot second, and then went back to my room and read a book or something because not much to do. But anyways,
cool spot.
Really cool spot. Like the Ozarks are amazing, and then we got stuck in Hot Springs, Arkansas, because there's a ice storm.
I think we were talking about.
Yeah, we did. Yeah,
we talked about the ice storm because they get crazy ice storms there.
Yeah,
sometimes.
Inches. Yeah, it was like inches of ice on the road. I was
like,
and then. Within a couple days, it was thawed out and gone. You never would have noticed it was even there.
Yeah, that happened to us one day. It wasn't quite that bad, but while we were there was like some freezing rain, and it was like, oh my God, this is like, I grew up in Colorado, and like this is worse than anything I've ever seen. It's like just ice, like the most dangerous driving you could imagine.
Oh yeah, by far, dude. Because I was the same way. Like my mom lived in northern Alabama, like Athens area, I think, just outside of Huntsville. And so it's like in that same band of like ice stormy stuff. And I remember like my stepdad and my mom telling me about how bad it is. I'm like, yeah, whatever. Like I live in the mountains. Like you're the ice storms.
It's bad.
Yeah, and then
it's crazy because we don't get that.
No,
here. I mean rarely. I'm sure it does happen, but
we'll get a little bit of like where it like rains and like the shoulder seasons where it's like,
or it rains and then it gets cold at night.
That's what I was gonna say. And then you get, but it's still like just more of a thinner film, like.
But it's not like that thick because there. I think it's like the rain is like below freezing, but it's still water. Yeah. And then the second it touches something, it freezes.
Yeah, it must be
like
something.
The moment it happens.
Yeah.
So then it just like collects, and it's just like you can get
just stacks
just think
up
of like clear ice.
Yeah,
and scary stuff.
Yeah, and the only way we get ice like that is like in the back roads around here if someone's not plowing it, so just like compacted snow that eventually freezes, and
just like glacier ice.
Yeah, kind of a little mini version of that.
Glaciers.
Yeah. Oh man. So so I always thought your folks were traveling around with it. Did you guys link up into the travels at all, or was it just like they had a mobile rig?
No, I don't think they were ready because they bought the thing and it was completely like gutted. Like there was nothing in it, so it wasn't really ready to be camped in for like. Took them like a year to get stuff in it.
Yeah.
So no, we didn't really camp. We didn't really get mobile together until we all kind of congregated up in Montana. But
cool.
We have gone out and camped with my folks. They got their rig. We got our rig.
That's so cool,
just sitting
dude.
around having a fire. Man, it's like paradise.
That
That's what
is
I
a
used to
dream.
dream about back in the day.
I bet, dude. Oh, yeah, that's what I'm more like
Yeah.
dreaming about. Like I'm trying to get my dad out more too and hang out. But that's like what I want to do as you know, if I'm a grandparent someday, or just as a parent, I guess, you know, someday to be able to just like, I kind of want to go somewhere and just drop chords for my kids. Like, you know, like here's some coordinates. You know, if you feel like coming and join us, do it. You know, see if you can find us.
That's what. Yeah, my parents are just great. They're just like such homies and like to do pretty much exactly what I like to do, and it's so great to have them be out in the woods with me, and yeah, it's just wonderful.
Well, then you're not losing that like love for life and the excitement for the outdoors. You know, if you're still out there pursuing it.
Yeah,
you know?
And the van makes it more accessible for them.
100%,
so they
man.
can just still get out pretty frequently.
Yeah,
it's not like too big an effort for them.
No, because like even the trailer, like everything's built in, but you still like get to a spot.
Tow it, and then there's like, and you gotta have like a spot.
Mm-hmm.
You know, whereas the van or my rig, you can just go on any dispersed spot. We can go on tiny little roads.
Yeah, just find a little pull off and yeah. Do you guys? What do you guys do to level it? Do you guys just like?
Oh, there's well, we don't do anything actively, but I try I've realized how important after living in it. Oh my God, having a level campsite is so important.
Crucial.
Critical. When you're cooking and the oil just goes to one side of the pan. Oh my God,
dude,
I want to blow my brains out.
I know. I just keep like splashing it back in the center to kind of keep it there.
Like, come on.
Pick up the pan and moving it.
Yeah. We have there's like on one of the corners of the camper. There's bubbles. So bubbles on the front and then bubbles on the side.
Oh yeah.
So you have all the dimensions.
Oh,
so when I pull up to a spot, I can look at it in my rear view mirror and I can tell if I'm actually flat or not. Because sometimes it'll feel flat.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter because that oil in the pan, or like you sleeping or something, you notice it.
Dude, as soon as you lay down, like you'd be walking around, because we had the same experience.
It makes you feel like drunk if you lay down and it's all tilted and then like.
Yeah, you wake up almost like hungover.
Yeah, it's weird.
I know. What the weird thing is like I've slept on the ground, and maybe it's because I was younger and fire, but like an uneven, fine, but like uneven camper, like you said, it's a different.
It's annoying.
Yeah.
Well, if you got the time to, then you might as well. But yeah, I've definitely camped in. Yeah, backpacked in the weirdest spots ever, and sleep great.
Yeah,
because you're so freaking tired.
Yeah, totally. So, what do you have any like? Do you have those like little step things that you can like little legs that go out to level it, or how do you roll on a rock? What do you do?
Yeah, we'll sometimes roll on a rock or a plank of wood or something. Yeah. But no, we don't really do anything. We just pick good spots.
Oh, smart. So your bubble, your little level bubble, you can see it out of your window. You said, or your mirror? I mean.
Yeah, I can like look in my left rear view mirror, driver's side.
Oh,
and
sweet.
then just like see right back and see how level I am.
Oh, that's
and then just like adjust from there. And it's
dude.
Sometimes it's super easy, and then sometimes I make Jess get out, and I'm like, "Am I good? Where should I go? Should I do this? What if I did that?"
Dude, an extra set of eyes makes all the difference for sure, man.
Yeah, sometimes it'll take us like 15 minutes trying to get it flat.
Yeah. Oh, totally. You know, I'm pretty good. Like I've been driving this trailer for a long time. I grew up driving trailers too, but like. Even if we're pulling a spot, like you want it to be perfect.
Does this thing have like the jacks on the corners?
Well, they're not built in. This is really old school, so it's got these little individual jacks, and they're kind of tiny. But they're pretty easy to work with. And like I've been kind of camping for a while. You know, like with the Jayco and stuff, and so it doesn't take much, and it's light, so it's not too hard to do. But like the first night in Glacier, the pads are there's an Apgar campground in the West Glacier side, like around Lake McDonald. And the pads are already pretty flat, but not quite. So we're a little low in the pasture corner here, you know, where the tub is, and so I kind of jacked it up the night before, but we were running out of time, and like it was getting late, so we were like, oh, whatever, we'll do it in the morning. So we're just like sitting with our heads uphill, but like kind of that weird feeling when you wake up, you're like, ugh, you don't notice when you're standing so much, but so that next day, first thing, man, I got that back corner up, and
it makes a huge difference.
It does, and especially with the camper, like, because otherwise you're just on the tires, so the tires got a little bit of squish, and then the shock. So as soon as you get the jacks underneath, then that really
it's like solid.
Solid, yeah. So it's like
I do notice right now.
Yeah, like right now we're rocking.
It's all shaky.
Yeah. If you move it all, like it moves.
I mean, that's how our truck is, because we don't have the jacks on it all the time.
Do you guys have like the big long ones that you can like?
We have them. God, we're so stupid. We actually left them in Arkansas during that holiday trip because we were like, "Oh, we'll be cruising around for a long time. We're not going to need those." And then And then we got here and we were like, dang, really wish we had those.
Yeah.
And they're really big and heavy and really expensive to ship.
Oh yeah, I bet.
So
Dang.
we're figuring that out.
Yeah, no.
But yeah, we got the jacks that go on like the four corners and.
Yeah, because you could leave it jacked up and pull out from under it, right? If you want.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
that's what's so cool about the slide-in camper, I think, is that like if the truck ever dies, which it will, it's a 99.
Yeah.
But yeah,
getting up there in age.
Just get a new truck and
yeah,
slide it in.
Same old camper. Yeah. Yeah, those in the back of the bed campers are pretty tough, too. They seem to last, a while.
Depending on the brand and who the owner was.
True.
And what they're made of and stuff. Ours is a really reputable brand. It's a 4-wheel camper.
Oh.
And they're super sturdy, aluminum framed, like
it's big.
Not fiberglass or anything. So they hold up real good over the years. People still use their this brand of camper from like the 90s.
Oh, wow.
They still work great. So we're super stoked on it. We love it.
Yeah, because then you got like a really good, like that aluminum siding and frame. Then, you got a good like base to build off of, like this, like
yeah,
this.
you could add stuff on super easily. Like you don't have to deal with the fiberglass and crap like that. Because the fiberglass is great. It makes it light, but cheap.
Yeah, the sun just beats the crap out of it though. So
yeah, that's why it's cheap.
Yep. Exactly. And I guess, oh man, I mean, you have to like refiberglass a whole, if your whole shell's fiberglass, would be brutal. Yeah.
My nightmare.
Same, man. Oh, so Arkansas, you came here and then that's where you put your roots down?
Pretty much. Well, yeah, we were in Arkansas and then, we messed around for, like I said, like 7 months. So we actually spent a lot of time in Utah, too.
Oh, really?
In the desert.
Beautiful.
Man, we covered pretty much the whole state of Utah. We stayed there for like
really
7 weeks or something, just like cruising around, looking at it. It was the middle of winter, so I don't know, it was still kind of chilly, but it was the warmest place around.
Yeah. Well, yeah, like we were always talking about that too. Like
we were like finding the warm places.
Yeah, me and my wife had talked about that too. Like especially we're both like looking into maybe finding something that's a little more remote positions, and using our Starlink and just cruising out in the middle of nowhere by Moab and hanging out for a week. And
so nice.
That's what I was thinking, man. Because like I said,
it's great for like camping in campers and stuff. The desert's so nice on the camper. It's so dry.
True.
And, like, I guess the sun's pretty harsh, but it's really dry, which is nice on campers.
Yeah, and then the sun probably helps heat everything up in the morning too when it pops out.
Yeah, when it's cold out. It's middle of winter. It'll be a 40-degree day, but when the sun's out, it's like good to go. It's just so dry and hot, or so dry and the sun's so powerful. Yeah, it doesn't even matter.
Totally, man.
It's great.
So did you guys go like around like Arches and Moab and stuff?
We didn't even go to any national park. No, we went to a portion of canyons. We kind of did like an archaeological tour.
Oh, really?
We saw tons of rock art sites and ruins and. We kind of just made it our mission to like see as many of those kinds of sites as possible.
Oh, really?
And we saw so many.
That's so cool, man.
When you're looking for them, man, the density out there of like ancient Pueblo sites are, oh my God, they're everywhere. It's like every side canyon has a petroglyph or a ruin or like something.
Man, I had no idea.
Every single canyon, pretty much.
Man,
it was amazing. We went down this one road called Butler Wash Road. It's like a 50-mile dirt road down this. It's kind of like a tiny version of the Bitters. It's like north-south running, and then there's like this rocky kind of side with parallel drainages. And every single one of the drainages had amazing ruins and rock art and just the most incredible ancient stuff I'd ever seen before.
Really?
It was amazing.
Oh, that's cool, man. I think it's so important because you kind of get like some kind of connection with our past human ancestors. You're like, oh,
totally.
Man.
You're like, it's really special when you're there. You like feel connected.
Yeah, you feel like an energy
human.
Or something.
It's hard to explain, but it's also it's just cool to like. It's really frustrating being there because you're like, why did they do this? Or like, why? What does that mean?
Oh, I was gonna say the meaning, right?
Yeah, and you could sit there all day, and that's what we'd do. We'd like sit there and just like look at these rock art panels and just be like, come up with theories. Like, well, maybe he was like this.
Yeah, totally.
Well, maybe this guy started it and then this guy finished it, or I don't know. We would just come up with the stupidest theories.
Yeah,
just, like,
no, it's fun that way,
fun,
man. Yeah, like, cause And that's, it's just like spitballing any ideas, right? Like you just like get them out there and voice them, and then you kick them around. Because sometimes like, you'd be like, I don't know, that sounds kind of dumb. You throw it out there, it's like, no, that's not dumb. And then sometimes they're like, that's really dumb, actually. Like, but it can go either way, man. So you kick it out there, and then that could spur another idea. Like even if it's like not the best idea, like, oh well, I mean, I don't know about what you said, but maybe this. And you're like, oh, yeah, it could be too.
It's frustrating though because you'd never know the answer.
Never, yeah, like
ever. Nobody on Earth knows the answer, and it's like, dang. Wish I could talk to somebody back in the day.
Oh, I know. There's this archaeologist, and I want to say he's like Hopi and trying to get another tribe that was around that area. Apaches hit my head, but I don't. It was over by Sedona area. I want to see if he was like.
That's Hopi.
Yeah.
I think.
And he's Hopi and something else. His name's like Jason Nez. He's an archaeologist out of the Grand Canyon. Awesome guy. And he showed us some of these pictographs. Hold on a second. Yeah, pictograph.
It was colored.
Yeah, it was colored, right? Yeah, and hammered is petroglyph, right?
Correct.
Yeah. I think he's the one explaining it to me, and it stuck the way he taught it to me. But he had this whole scene, right, and like you could see like some kind of like primitive picture of a human being, and then like some kind of animal, and then all the humans had like matching things in their heads, and then you could see clearly that there was someone that looked like a bow in their hands, and what he figured it was is like the canyon we were in was like one of their harvesting grounds where like they would go out there and have like these feathers on their heads, a good portion of the tribe kind of corral the animal and like kind of get them like kind of pushed into that canyon, and then that's where the other the hunters would be waiting with the bows, like probably the best archers they had, and like kill whatever animal they were trying to get and then harvest the meat that way. And it's the whole storylines on this wall. Yeah, it's like, man. And then like that area all the way up in Utah, I think like he was the one telling me there was just like this massive trade.
It was massive. It was like a big metropolitan area. I mean, there was thousands and thousands and thousands of people.
Yeah.
And most of them disappeared, and nobody knows like why they left. And it looks like they left in a hurry because they left a lot of like pottery and weird stuff.
Yeah, it's really strange.
That's just so cool. Yeah, this is exactly why we went there and went on this tour, just because it's so interesting and mysterious, and I don't know. I love that kind of stuff.
Me too. And like you said, no one will ever know unless somehow there's like a time machine.
That's the only way.
Yeah.
The mystery is what makes it kind of fun.
Yeah. Yeah, because there's in southern Colorado. Do you know the spot? It's like
Mesa Verde.
Yeah, like all those cliff dwellings and stuff.
Yeah,
that's kind of the same deal.
I haven't
right?
actually been there, but yeah, it's the same, similar civilization around the same time at least.
Yeah, and they can trace it back to like their more primitive housing. At least in the tour we got when we were reading all the little signs, is like there was like these more primitive housing, then they moved into the cliffs, and they got these better dwellings and more protected.
Upgraded.
Yeah, upgraded. Yeah, and they can kind of figure out because of what they found. Like there's this one with the big old like chimney chute on it, and like that area was for something, and so they kind of figured this out. But like there was nothing left when someone discovered like I heard it was like some old cowboy kind of just like happened to stumble upon it.
God, can you imagine being that guy?
Yeah, but like what in the world?
Insane.
Yeah, because like it sounded like
what is going on here?
Yeah, because if you didn't know, I mean, it's tucked back in the canyon. Unless you like were in the canyon or like peering in, you wouldn't even really notice it.
And that was the whole point, right?
Yeah, totally.
Defensive strategies. They were like, they'd set up in these super hard to get to spots just so they could see people coming and
prepare,
kill them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because usually
they were all at war with each other. I mean, I'm sure there was some friendly ones, but
for the most part, yeah.
Yeah. The little colonies had to stick together and fend for themselves.
Yeah.
What a time to be alive.
Ooh,
I'm glad we don't live then.
Yeah, I'm really fortunate. I'm feeling really fortunate that we live now because way more relaxed.
Pretty stoked.
Yeah.
Comfy camper.
Yeah.
Lights.
Yeah, lights. Yeah, I don't have to worry about someon trying to like murder us on the way out of here
Just
tonight.
go get food at the grocery store.
Yeah, exactly.
It's pretty nice. We got a pretty cush.
Oh, we do, man. And man, with those cave dwellings, man, the way I don't know. I guess they would probably design it so that it was harder to get up into, and I guess they probably had trail systems in between all the little areas because they're pretty spread out. Some of them, especially in that Mesa Verde area, and then so I was wondering, man, was there a little bit of water in there? Were they like boating across a little bit, maybe?
Probably. They would set up oftentimes around like a spring or something.
Yeah, and that's what I was kind of thinking too. And remember
that's another thing about the Utah in general. It's like it seems like such a harsh, just horrible, hellish landscape.
Yeah.
And then you go down into some of these canyons, especially a lot of the ones where you see ruins, and they're like beautiful cottonwoods and grasses, and maybe not like a flowing creek or something, but the water's like right under your feet.
Yeah.
So like there's always these little oases out in the desert, and that's just so cool about that area.
Yeah. Man. Yeah, the same experience like just south of Sedona and in Camp Verde there, and yeah, kind of same deal. Like we're in the middle of the desert, and they gave us directions to this spot. It's like a park, I think, and it was closed down because there were fires that were all around. But we were able to go in and check it out, and it's wild to see, man, this campground. It's like, if you like were just like in Sedona and someone like blindfolded you and somehow got you and stuck you in this little oasis, you wouldn't really know where you were. You'd be like, am I still in Arizona?
Yeah.
You could probably guess by the rocks around you, but like you wouldn't probably think you were in the Sedona area. It was wild, man. Because like you said, the same thing, cottonwoods and like cooler temperatures, and the water's
cool.
beautiful. Yeah. And this flowing river was right in that area. It's nuts, man.
It's pretty great.
It is, dude.
Pretty great. Yeah, the desert rules.
Yeah. So I guess I'll let you go before you hear it too late. But you end up in Montana, Arkansas.
Yeah. So then, basically after all that, we were like, dang, we need to settle down. Or no, not that we needed to. We just kind of like it. I don't know. It didn't even really. It happened so organically. I guess my brother's been in this area he's lived in Montana for like 5 or 6 years.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of in and out between Bozeman and here. And so we had visited, and we loved it when we were visiting. And then my parents were tired of living in Boulder. So they were like, well, we want to move somewhere with mountains that's less crowded. So they bought a little place here. And then we were like, well, shoot, maybe we'll come visit. And then we came and visited, and we never left.
Oh, cool, man.
Pretty much that's how it went.
Yeah. Did you guys have jobs or anything?
No, we had no jobs. We were unemployed for a little while. Still just living our nomad life, which was great. And then we were like, yeah, all right, we should probably get jobs. So she got a job with an insurance company, and cool. And I came on with doing seasonal gigs with the Forest Service.
Oh, man.
So.
Well, you can tell, like, you're an outdoorsy fella because, I would never notice. You said you were from, like, the Bitterroot or from Missoula or something. Like, oh, yeah, totally. Because, like we were talking earlier about the chemistry of outdoorsy folks who really ought to enjoy it and enjoy, like, sharing it, Like, you wouldn't know. You couldn't really tell anybody unless an accent, maybe, Otherwise, you wouldn't really be able to tell if someone's from California, Colorado, Montana, Idaho, Wyoming, any of that, like Washington, Oregon. For
sure. Everybody who goes outside, we got things in common.
Yeah.
We like going outside.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's so, I don't know, like more grand, like than just being angry in like an apartment or something and, not having like a park or something to go and get your energy out and see like there's more to life than whatever issue might be bugging you and that you might be stewing on if you're just, going from A to B, like work to home and especially.
Nature heals, man. Yeah. I feel weird if I don't get out enough.
I know, I get cagey.
Get into the woods. Yeah, totally cagey.
Yeah, like, same, man. Like,
I need it.
I don't get
for my mental health.
That's what I was gonna say. Like, it's not like maybe I get a little grumpy sometimes, but like it's more like I feel like like my brain starts skipping a little bit or something. Like I'm just like off, like man, I don't know, like I'm foggy and I just need like I'm missing something,
Totally. And then I'll go on like one big adventure. And I'm like, I feel satisfied.
Dude,
like the itch has been scratched.
Yeah, man. For me, it's even like just going to like a pond and skating or skiing or something outside. Like even if it's just like a winter market, that's like at the fairgrounds in Missoula. It's like, oh man, just get outside, get some smells and enjoy something. And
it's good for you. It's science too. It's proven to be good for you.
Yeah, 100%, man. Like we're not meant to be inside all the time. That's for sure.
Yeah. And this area is great for my particular interests because I like fishing and I like the wilderness.
Yeah.
And man, this place is just chock full of both of those things.
Yeah.
It's so great.
Absolutely, man. It's wild how you end up kind of where you end up. Like, you end up here and me too. And I didn't really know. I didn't really have much plans. I guess if I was going to pick it when I was in high school, it would have been like Pony, Montana, which is just on the other. Yeah, it's
Where's
a tiny little community just on the other side of the Tobacco Roots from Whitehall.
Oh, okay.
And Yeah, Bo's been focused kind of moving into it a little bit, so.
I still got a lot of exploring to do in Montana. That's what's so great about it. It's
much.
gigantic, and there's infinite mountains to explore, it feels like.
Yeah.
I mean, this summer has been the summer of the Bitterroot for me, working here and stuff, and I there's still 100 things I want to do.
Yeah.
And there's just not enough time in the world.
No, I was going to say,
I love it.
Yeah, me too, dude. If I could do it, like, it'd be really hard with the family and stuff now, but if I could maybe, I don't really want to change anything, but if I had to change something, maybe I'd be more nomadic as a seasonal, you know, like, because like when you live somewhere and work somewhere, you're just gonna recreate as around your little circle because it's just easy. You can on the weekends you don't have to go very far. Be like, oh, someone tells you like, hey, have you been up Blodgett or whatever? You know, like, no, go check that out. You know, have you been up Trapper Peak? You're like, no, check that out. You know, like all these spots that are like not like as well known nationally maybe, but then like all these locals are like, hey, have you gone on this hike yet? You fish this area or whatever it might be, you know? Oh, it's walking on you. And so like if I could do that, like if I could spend a summer or a couple summers, like it'd probably be like, cause you said like, I mean, you've been here a while and there's still so much, even me, you know, I've been here a while and like I just got out to the Magruder Massacre site just this summer and out to Salmon Mountain. I didn't make it to the lookout itself, but I was like right there, you know, and like just a lot of places that, you know, McCart lookout today, you know, like it hadn't been there yet.
I hadn't even heard of that.
Yeah. So yeah, it's so good, man. So much out there to explore. And
love exploring places I haven't been before. It's funny because I try not to like repeat stuff, but I also feel weird like not repeating stuff. I'm like, oh, that place was so awesome, I should go there again. But then it's like, oh, there's 1,000 other places that are maybe better. I don't know. Let's go check it out.
And I was going to mention that earlier because we were talking about like just traveling and seeing new things. Because when in my little world of Whitehall, I had like there's this campground called Potosi, which is over by Pony, and then we go up to like I'm trying to think how to describe it, but somewhere over by Lake Delmo Lake, and then just anywhere in the back routes really, and like we had our spots, you know, as like younger high school kids, but also like as far as our gas money could really make it. So like
yeah, for sure.
We couldn't get too far. Anyways, we go up to Whitetail and like State Creek and a few other places I'm starting to remember now. But like at the time, man, I was happy. Like that was all I needed, you know. And like we just had our spots, like you said, and then the job, you know, like chasing smoke jumping and life, you know, like it brought me to other places, and I think it really opened up my world to be like more like you, where it's like I've already been there. I'm gonna go somewhere new. So I don't know. I there's too much to see. I don't think I'll ever have like repeat places like as much. I'll still have them like weekend getaway, just like cruise over to wherever, you know, up the West Fork or something.
I just want to be that 7-year-old guy who's just been everywhere and just has a spot for every occasion, you know?
Yeah. Every time of year too, right?
Yeah, every time, exactly. Yeah. That's what I mean by every occasion. Every time of year, every like weather, like every fishing, what's going on with the fishing. And I just want to have all my spots on lockdown.
Yeah, and just like know and have enough experience to know like this is where I want to be in the spring, you know, because I've been everywhere else. And this is my favorite place to be in the spring and still love it, you know?
Yeah.
Because I think that's a part of the problem. If you're not getting up and moving around enough, you're in the same corner of the world. And this isn't 100% because I know people who've lived, like, say, like Whitehall, my small town. And I think I could be like this too, where it's like you still appreciate it. You still love everything about it. You love the changes, you know, like the weather changes. Like, and that's the cool thing about Montana too. And, you know, like, people probably get mad because we keep bragging about Montana on this podcast. But
sorry, listeners.
Yeah, sorry, listeners.
It's just the best.
It is, yeah, it's so awesome, man. Like, you go spring, especially in spring. Well, fall too, but like spring.
Spring is, I think, objectively the best.
Yeah,
it's just full of life. Yeah. You're getting out of your little winter coma.
And all the vegetation's so different around the Northwest in general, right? Like, I go to Whitehall and spring smells different. And I love the smell of spring because it reminds me of like my childhood and high school and grade school and like football, or not football spring, I guess spring would be more like track, you know. Like I started skipping because I was thinking about fall then because we're coming up on fall, but you know, like just the great smells there, you know, especially at my parents' place. And then, you know, here in the Bitterroot has its own smells, and then like going through the Big Hole because like usually cruising back that way if I'm going to see my folks. True.
I'm gonna have to focus more on how spring smells in different places.
Yeah, like once you kind of,
you're totally right though. Yeah. Like each vegetation kind of group has a different vibe, smell, sight.
Totally, man, and especially Montana.
Really neat.
Yeah, because you got like in a lot of places that are just like have the Continental Divide like running through the middle. So like you have like the drier side of Montana with different vegetation and smells, and even it's different from like Whitehall to like, Livingston or Billings or Yellowstone.
Whitehall's on the east side of the divide?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Just over, yeah. Because like you cross the divide as you go into Butte.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
so just barely.
Like I'm saying, I got a lot to explore. I don't know my Montana super well yet. But
Yeah, well, there's always more, man. Like I'll run into somebody in like, man, Montana through and through. Been here, like I said, most of my life, and then someone will be like, I'm from. I mean, this is a bad example, like 2 Dot, like, and because.
I don't know that.
Oh yeah, see, like like a small town like that, where like I have some friends from there.
I
but
just went to Shoto like a month ago. I was like, this
beautiful.
is a small town. I like this.
Oh, I love Shoto. But yeah, like I didn't know about 2 Dot and a few other small towns out east, more like central east, I guess. Until went to school with one of my friends from 2 Dot, and I was like, I've never even heard of it. Like, it's just
2 Dot. How do you spell that?
I think it's just like
TWO DOT.
DOT, I think, yeah.
2 Dot.
Yeah, 2 Dot Montana. And
Listeners, comment if we're doing that wrong.
Yeah, exactly. Messed. Yeah, we'll have to look it up. I'm pretty sure that is TWO. Because like I was trying to picture. I don't remember picturing like the number 2. So I think it is like TWO DOT.
I have
2
no
Dot.
idea.
I don't either. Yeah, and then, there's like a ton of small little towns that I went through on fire. Like what's like.
Oh yeah, I'm sure you get to some really backwoods spots in fire.
Yeah, totally, man. And trying to remember them all and sort them all out, And the problem is too, like a season, you could go a bunch of different places in a season, and then all of a sudden, like these towns that are not near each other will start to group up in your memory because it's like that was 2015, and it's like I was in Ecolak, I was in Alzada, I was in wherever, like, and then there's like California places like Wairika, like that all, like not even in Montana, but like it's still like.
You just group it in
your
head.
group it in my brain. Yeah. So it's like, is that in eastern Montana? It's like, no, Wairika's in, Cali, and that's by Weaverville, like.
I totally know what you mean.
Kind of messes up my my geographical memory. Right? Yeah. Well, shoot, man, I won't keep you all night, but I really appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, man.
We'll have to revisit some of the fish, man.
Yeah.
And the Merlin app next time, because the plan was to quiz you.
How long have we been doing this?
We're just about an hour and a half in.
Oh, an hour and a half?
Yeah.
Time really flies in here.
It really does.
I've listened to a few of these, and I was like, geez, like 2 hours, like, I don't know if I can talk for that long.
No, well, I think.
But once you start going.
Yeah, you start sharing
not too bad.
Stories. No, it's not bad at all, dude.
Who knows? Maybe I'll even come on again, Luke.
Wow, I thought we kind of made the agreement already. we got stuff to follow up on. Because that's a good thing, right?
You're
too.
right. We do have to follow up, and we gotta talk about birds.
Yeah, we gotta do the bird quiz. That's a great thing too. Is like usually like this will spur more things. Like, oh, that's cool, man. We gotta figure out, talk more about that. Like the fishes.
It's fun. I have no idea how we killed an hour and a half.
Yeah, like you said, it just cruises, man. And with you, because we've been talking a bunch and getting to know each other a lot in the last. How long have you been here now? A couple months?
2 months.
2 months, yeah.
Almost 3 months. Oh
man,
my gosh.
Man, I know it, dude. Even that's just been flying. Dude, the summer flew so fast.
So fast.
Like,
I can't even believe it's September almost.
Yeah, we were hiking up to McCart Lookout, and my kiddo's not old enough for school yet, but like a lot of people's are, and a few folks that were hiking, like kids are starting today, or
Jess just went to Target the other day in Missoula, and I was on the phone with her, and she's like, oh my God, I'm turning around. It's dorm move-in day.
Oh, yeah.
The Target was just packed with the dorm kids.
So weird to think about, dude, because it feels like the summer just started. Yeah.
In the middle of summer? Oh, it's August. Right,
yeah.
It's late August.
Yeah, totally, man. The rain kind of helps me, like, adjust. Like, it's, like, that time of year, but, man, I'm not, like, I wasn't ready, man. I feel like it snuck up on me this year, and this is the first summer I ever had not in fire. Like, no fire at all this summer, which is crazy, because I've, 17 years or something like that.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah, so it's been weird. But, like, kind of when we were talking in the beginning about planning and like, because talking about your adventures are good, but, like, if you don't actually make a plan or, like, have a rough idea of, like, when you want to do something, like, and put it maybe down on the calendar, I would just suggest putting it on the calendar, because otherwise you won't do it.
That's totally the most important thing. And then if you put it on the calendar, too, and somebody else is like, hey, you want to do this that weekend? You're like, I'm already booked.
Yeah.
I'm doing it. And then you're committed.
Exactly. Totally committed, man. Yeah, unless that other thing's, like, super cool.
Yeah, unless the other thing's cooler. Yeah, like, of course you can.
I'm going to bump this to, next month. But it's so important, though, man, because if you don't make a plan, like, you just don't do things, and that's what I kind of noticed getting older and having more of the free time. Like, I can always find stuff to do around my house. Like, there's, or in the valley or something, and that's going to say, like, when you get a house or just even just being local here, like, it's like Missoula, you can go Petty Canyon, Rattlesnake.
Yeah.
I mean, cruise up to Sealy, and out to 9 Mile. Like, there's a lot of stuff right there, so you can stay busy all the time. But then, like, you might be missing some of your bigger bucket list things because
exactly. That's what's I feel like you're hitting the nail on the head with how my summer's gone.
yeah,
Of like doing so much local stuff and then being like, oh, I forgot to go to Glacier.
yeah, oh exactly, yeah. Because
I didn't put it on the calendar, man, and now I'm screwed.
Yeah, well,
no, I'll still try to squeeze it in.
Yeah, you got time. I think September 20th. I think is one of the lodges closed, but the park's open for a while.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not sure because going to Sun Road is like what kind of ends up kind of splitting the park, but you still get around.
Right.
Like on the the other highway that goes past like.
Be cool to go there in the winter too when it's like dead.
Yeah, I heard it's awesome, man. Especially like.
But then you just don't get like the high alpine unless you guys do some insane skiing mission or something.
True.
But
yeah, because like there's those chalets and stuff that you can hike into.
Yeah, no, that'd be so cool.
Yeah, that's definitely on my list,
Yeah.
and gotta wait until the kid was a little older, but like that kind of stuff, and then. Like Yellowstone, like I'm still gonna try to get that in before the end of the year.
I do need to do that. I told my friend who works there I'd go visit her, so
yeah,
I have to do that.
And that one, because I was working on West Yellowstone for a while, so I got to like go in and around the park all summer long, and during the busy season, before the busy season, then after the season like is pretty much over, and man, like. Later fall before things shut down in Yellowstone is awesome. Like,
oh, that's good to hear. Maybe I'll make it out there in like, late September, early October or something.
Yeah, I'd like to see when things shut down because like they're even saying like Old Faithful Land is like super hard to get into, but like if you go in later in the year, you can get some rooms and even sometimes a little cheaper too because they're just like empty. So
nice.
Yeah,
that's a good tip.
Yeah, and then like the last time I was there, this is actually the last. I think this was the last time, unless I was there on fire. I don't know, it all blends. But me and my brother-in-law and wife were sitting on there's like this carport thing that's like a deck. You can drive under it and check in the hotel or whatever, get picked up.
Oh,
whatever
yeah.
I know
what you're talking about.
Yeah, and you can see, I think you can see Old Faithful, but you can see a bunch of other geysers for sure. And it's just like this beautiful fall night, like comfy clothes weather, like we were talking.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I was in like this like thicker sweatshirt, I think, and just like some boots, like kind of like what I'm wearing now, and just toasty, like up on watching the sun go down and geysers going off all over, man. It's like that golden hour, like the golden sunlight hours, it's going down. Yeah, man, it's so hard to beat. And then we're just having like I even remember the drink. It was called an Indian paintbrush.
That's a great drink name.
Yeah, and it was great, man. So like, I'd never heard of one, and then like the bartender recommended this tiny little bar that I didn't even know was a bar because it's kind of tucked in the wall, and there's all these little cool things that make it just a beautiful, scene in the evening. And went and watched the glaciers go off and just hang out, and enjoy the scene. And no one really there. We had to pretty much the whole thing to ourselves,
Man, that sounds like heaven.
Yeah, it was really cool, man. And hearing like. Some folks talking about like some spooky ghost story type things that happen in the lodge as they're shutting her down, Like,
there's all of those stories at all the national parks.
Yeah.
All the ghost stories. It's funny. You should have a Halloween special.
I was thinking about that.
And get some like national park guru to talk about ghost stories. There's a lot in Yosemite too.
Oh really?
Yeah.
That'd be cool. Yeah, that's the only thing, like I'm pretty well connected with Yellowstone and Glacier here. Like I have a really good friend who works in Yellowstone, but shout out to Amanda Haggerty.
Let's go, Amanda.
Yeah, she's awesome. Went to high school with her. But yeah, so I got know her, and I guess I don't really know anyone directly in Glacier, but like there's people we worked with, so it's like I know, and I've been there quite a bit. But then Yosemite, it's like just far enough away where I don't know anybody really anymore, and that works there. Like I knew
it's
some
a
folks.
big park. There's a lot of people that work there.
Yeah, like I jumped with a guy named Ernie Walker. He recently passed away, so but he would be my connection if he was still around, and he worked at Yosemite before he came to jump, and he was saying that like Yosemite was by far his favorite park.
Yeah, when I lived in the valley there, that was our playground. Because instead of having all these local things where I could drive 10 minutes, we would just drive 3 hours every weekend and just go to Yosemite because that was our favorite place on Earth.
A little slice of heaven right there.
Oh, man, it's unreal. Yeah, it's unreal.
Yeah, it's awesome, man. All the big trees and stuff there.
Man. Big cliffs.
Yeah, big cliffs.
Big rocks.
The rock formations around there are crazy. Like Half Dome itself is like unreal.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, the valley's kind of a show. It's a little bit like Disneyland, but still amazing.
It is a little bit, yeah, but still, like you said, like there's because
it's a Disneyland for a reason. Because it's so crazy.
Yeah, like giant waterfalls.
Insane.
Yeah, like the. I wish I could remember the name of it because it's probably a really popular
Yosemite Falls.
That's probably it. Yeah, it's like right there, right?
Yeah, it's the big one.
Yeah. Oh my God, it's so cool. Yeah, like the drop, if that's the same one that we're talking about, is like.
It's like 3,000 foot.
Is that what it is?
Or it's like 1,500. That main one is like 1,500.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Man, I got a lot of Yosemite stories too. We might have to do a sequel.
Yeah, see, I know you knew, man.
I got a lot of Yosemite stories.
Yeah,
I worked there for 2 seasons. I didn't work for
really?
the Park Service. But
Oh,
I spent a lot of time there.
That's cool, man. Were they still doing that like Fire Falls Festival thing or whatever?
Yeah, every November. I can't remember what month, but yeah. Then there's that lighting thing with the waterfall. Honestly, it's cool, especially if you're a photographer.
Oh yeah.
But I don't know. I've seen the waterfall from so many angles. I didn't really need to see it red.
Yeah, no, I get it, man.
I was like, oh, okay, it's orange. Nice.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, like, okay, you can change the color.
Cool.
Totally
all right.
Yeah. Because, I mean, just by itself, it's like,
yeah,
amazing,
it's cool in the middle of the day. It's all good.
Yeah.
But if it seems like a pretty cool phenomenon.
Yeah, totally. And wasn't the original Fire Falls Festival thing was like where they'd light leaves, right? And like
they would roll burning logs off of Glacier Point.
Oh.
For fun. Every night or something. I don't know.
Jeez.
Something weird like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, and then somebody was like, all right, we should probably shut this down.
Yeah.
It's probably a good idea.
Yeah, probably not good. Yeah. I think that was pretty recent too, which is amazing.
Yeah, it wasn't that long ago.
Yeah, it's like, because part of me is like, yeah, it seems like a bad idea, but also part of me is like, I missed that. Like, dang it,
I want to do that.
Yeah, he's like,
let's go do that.
I want to miss that, you know?
Like, throw some clout. You know what? Where we can do that? Blodgett.
Yeah, true. We just gotta find a time when they're doing.
Basically a mini Yosemite.
Yeah, well,
that's incredible.
Yeah, because that's what's weird about some of the, well, not really some, but like a little of the similarities because of the rock formations.
Basically the same rock, granite.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Pretty much, and the same formation, glaciers.
Yeah, true. Yeah,
so that's why they look fairly, sort of, kind of similar.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Because
Yosemite was just it on a much larger scale.
Yeah, and I've only been to Yosemite once. It was like a real quick day trip, so I didn't really see as much. But like I was like, man, there's something familiar about Blodgett. And then we have El Cap, not too far away. Isn't there like an El Capitan?
Yeah, El Capitan, but it's a mountain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
one day I'll climb that.
Yeah, especially after seeing it the other day.
Epic! Oh my God, that view of it, like you see the prominence compared to any other peak.
Yeah.
You see why they called it El Capitan. Because you get looks at it from the valley sometimes when you're driving, and you're like, oh, that's like a big mountain.
Yeah.
Up there was insane.
Yeah.
That was like proud.
It was, dude.
Big mountain.
Really, yeah, because nothing's really like obscuring it from.
No.
Yeah, the valley bottom. Like where you're up there, you can see past everything that would be, kind of dwarfing it a little bit. It
stands out above everything.
Yeah,
incredible.
Yeah, totally, man. Yeah, it's beautiful. And then the El Cap in Yosemite,
it's not a mountain, it's just a rock.
Just a rock, yeah.
A big rock. The biggest rock.
Yeah, because that's like the famous rock climbing one, right?
I think it's I don't know, there's a lot of weird definitions of it, but it's like the largest granite monolith in the world.
Oh, whoa.
It's like the base of it is 3,000 feet.
Holy cow.
Yeah, so it's like triple. Those big faces you see in Blodgett are like 800 to 1,000 feet, which, I mean, massive.
Yeah, huge.
But imagine 3 of those stacked on top of each other.
That is insane. Cause especially, if you're on the East Side Highway, like going past the airport, and you can see right down on Blodgett and see like those cliff faces. Like, so they look
massive.
Yeah.
Imagine that triple stack.
Whew. Yeah, I need to go to Yosemite more. Like, I need to spend some time, just stare at some things,
Yeah, one day, bring this Airstream out there and spend a little while.
That'd be cool, yeah, once it's, like, kind of back to its glory, Like, right now, it's kind of hard to travel with it. It's not hard, it's just not as comfortable as it could be, like, once
I see that, but,
yeah.
I mean, it's got lots of potential.
It does, yeah, it just needs a little TLC.
It's fun,
up there.
having a little project to work on.
It really is, yeah, and especially, like, the polishing part, like I was showing you, like, I haven't had a chance to really get after it in a while, just busy with all kinds of life things, but, I mean, as you're polishing it, it's... before your eyes, literally, it's shining up like a mirror. Yeah, it's so nice. I just got to do it in a better order this time and not try to strip the paint first. Like strip the paint first, then polish, because I polished and then stripped, and took a little of the old luster off.
Yeah, you live and learn.
Live and learn. Yeah, that's what it's about. It's kind of what the podcast's about. Talking about life lessons and
absolutely
stuff we want to learn.
Yeah, I love what you got going on here with the podcast, man. I'm fully supportive of it. I think it's really cool that you just invite anybody, some average Joe like me, on here and talk about whatever, and it's fun, and I like it.
Yeah, it's great. I really appreciate you coming on, man. You kind of hit before I could, say it, because I was gonna say the same thing about like having you on, man. Like, you're interesting as hell, dude. Like,
thanks, man.
Yeah, I think anyone who lived, because it's not. I mean, it kind of seems probably, especially to outsiders, that it's just like random people who just like anyone who will talk to me.
But if you actually listen to the episodes, everybody's got pretty cool story.
Yeah,
or cool opinions, or you guys. Yeah, there's everybody's got a story.
Yeah, because
that's what's so cool about the podcast.
Exactly, dude. Because I'm not, like it seems random, but it's definitely kind of by design by who I can have on. Is because like if I think you're interesting, and that's like why I was bugging you, is like, if you got like,
I know you wouldn't let me say no.
No, I wasn't. I mean, if I really thought you didn't want to do it, I'd be like, yeah.
I didn't put my foot down.
No, you left some.
I'm happy I did it now.
Me too, dude. You definitely left some room the first time we talked. It's like, oh, all right, yeah.
I can't say no, man.
Oh, I appreciate it, dude. Yeah, and I think it's pretty cool thing too, man, like having you come on, and like otherwise these stories and these adventures and stuff like hopefully inspire, because that was like one of the main things, like even on like the title of this thing is like created to share stories, inspire, get people outside, and have their own adventure, man, because like, god dang, there's so much out there to see, and it doesn't matter where you're at.
That's been the theme of this episode, I think, is there's too much. Go explore, people.
Yeah, go explore, and we'll end her there. Well, Doug, thanks for being on, brother.
Thanks, dude.
And thanks for anyone tuning in, and we'll see you in the next one.